What makes a successful project manager? My name is Guilherme. I'm a project management expert. I help professionals to become successful project managers. The way I do that is in several different ways, from specialized training, one-on-one coaching and mentoring, helping them to develop their skills, helping coping with consultants, helping companies to organize their operations there. Because if your goal is to develop your project management skills, my goal is to support you in that journey. And not forgetting, this is part of the warm up of the Project Management Summit. The Project Management Summit, it's a free event I'm going to make to show you how to further develop your project management skills. Everything is free. The only thing that you need to do there, click in the link here in the description of the video and subscribe. Or if you are watching this on Instagram, just go in the bio, click in the link in the bio there and subscribe. If you participate in the full event, you're also going to get a certificate. There's going to be extra material, and also I'm going to give you some giveaways there. So the topic I'm going to discuss today, what makes a successful project manager? Before going to more details on the topic, I want to make a short discussion on what makes anybody else successful here. And to make this a good example, I want to tell a bit the story about Novak Djokovic. Djokovic, sorry. And if I'm killing the name, sorry about the pronunciation. Djokovic, he's a famous tennis player, considered by a lot of people one of the best tennis players of all time. But what does it have to do with project management? Let me go there. First of all, I want to show some statistics from his career. So you can see here in the screen that I took a period or a window of the statistics of his career starting to 2004. Why? Because on 2004, at the last week of the year, he was 186 in the ATP ranking there, meaning that among all the tennis players around the world, he was 186. But if you look how many points he won in average in that year, comparing all the points that, of course, he played, and how many points he won 48% of the points that you can imagine there. In 2005, he won 49.3% of the points that he played, but that put him in the 7th, 8th position of the ATP ranking. In the year of 2006, he won 51.8% of the points. That put him on 16th of the position there. 2002, 52%, almost 53%. He was the third in the ranking. And then, of course, he stays in the ranking around that average point. So finally, in 2011, the last week of the year again, he won that year. He won 56% of the points. Then he was the number one, and of course after that he was number one a lot of times and so on. But why I'm bringing some tennis statistics here, and what does it have to do with anything? Because a lot of people ask me, what does it make a successful project manager, and what's the difference between who succeeds and who not succeeds as a project manager? What I want to show out with this statistic is that you're never going to see one big thing say, oh, this person here is using critical path. This person here knows waterfall. This person here knows business case. No, usually it's a combine of a lot of things and done with consistency and a lot of things that you work in improvement through time. And of course, and again, why I'm talking about project management and tennis about the same time, because here you see one of the best tennis players, and you see here a window of few years, 7 years, and you see the gap of his performance. So, and of course his position, he moved from 186 to number one, or if you compare with already the 16 year, the improvement that he made from one year to another, it's probably an incremental improvement. So it's not something very big that you're going to see there. But he was working on his foundations every day, and he was working to improve every day. But if you look for his average performance, he just moved from 48 from less than 52, less than 4% of improvement here in around 2 years, 3 years. So he was not looking for a real big thing, a real big motion that he would make, that he would win. He was just looking every day how he can improve a bit more and a bit more. And at some point, this a bit more that he was doing there, it was a breakthrough. Because then he, of course, if you won more than 51%, yeah, he was winning most of the games. And then you can imagine that he was 16, and of course, at 56, of course, he was number one. But the point here is not to have you're not looking to be a successful project manager in a very big step that you're going to make. You're not looking for a leapfrog. From one day you say, I don't know anything, in the other day you just leapfrog and say, now I'm the best one. I'm a very successful project manager. No, it's work year over year that you see there, and consistently improvement what you see there. And of course, if you do that through the years, you see already just a small improvement, a bit more than 1% of improvement, already put him in the 78. Another small step here, or 2% of improvement, 16. Here's a bit 1% of improvement, 30% of already third in the award. And of course, if you do that with consistency in your career for a project management, that's what's going to make the difference. And again, that's why I have my poster here. And if you are looking for the giveaway, here's your tip. Look for the poster and read it. That's why I have this reminder here saying that how can I become 1% better every day? Because if you do become 1% better every day, and of course if you do that with consistent through the years, at some point you are just having a breakthrough, and at some point you are in a level, you are just the number one, and you are scoring one after the other. You are very successful. You can manage very well your projects, and people say, "Oh, this person was lucky," or suddenly this person, what you are doing there? Well, what you are doing is working your foundations, working your consistency, looking the ways you can improvement. Because, and then I bring, of course, a quote because I do love quotes. If you don't know that about me at this stage, that's something that you should know it. That's from Thomas Edison. That's saying that a lot of many of the failures of people is because they do not realize how close they were from success before they gave up. Can you imagine if Djokovic he just gave up when he was in the 51.8%? He say, "Yeah, I've already tried too much and I cannot improve myself," and he just gave up. Or if the years that he was kind of around the third position, and I do not check, I do not know if the entire year, but like that. But if you check the stats and say, "Oh, I beat 54%, but I could not still finish the year as the first one, and so I'm going to give up." Can you imagine? And he's considered one of the best tennis players of all time. So what you're looking there, you're not looking for a big step, but you're looking to make an adjustment in your project management of your team, adjustments in your foundation. And if you do that with consistent, that's what's going to bring you the success there. But also, if you're not a tennis fan, I'm going to bring another guy here. You might have heard of him, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is considered by a lot of people the best basketball player of all times. And nowadays you can see also the Air Jordans back. It's very trendy. If you don't know Michael Jordan, I do recommend you to watch the Netflix series called The Last Dance. They talk about the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, how they make the title wins and so on. That's a very good recommendation if you want to improve, of course, your leadership skills, your teamwork, and also you can have some entertainment during the weekend. So that's something that I do recommend you to do it, and I even have a special content just talking about that. So if you want to watch the content and later on watch the series on Netflix, The Last Dance, you're going to see specific points that you should pay attention how to develop yourself. But coming back here, why I'm pointing out to Michael Jordan, and yeah, he was considered the best player of all times. But if you look for his statistics, like the number of trials or shots that he had in a game, and how many times, so he did a lot of shots in a game. If you see here, on average, you see here the average per season. So he tried at least 20, 24 shots. That's excluding, of course, the 3-point shots or free shots and so on. But if you see, okay, for all the things that he was trying, how many of them he was getting right? If you see in average here, in some years he was better, and some other years he was pretty consistent. He was always around 50%. What does it mean 50%? So when he throws the ball, there's 50% the chance that he's going to score, 50% the chance that he's not going to score. Although it's, of course, it's Michael Jordan, so you might think, okay, he's going to score every time, but in reality, he's not. And also to make a point here, I put here they have an award at NBA, what they call the ESPY award, the best NBA player of a specific year. Michael Jordan won 93, 97, 98, and 99. The award started in 93, so I don't have anything to compare before that. Of course, there's other ways that you could look for statistics, but for simplicity, just let's look on this one. And you see that in the years he won as the best player, of course, those were also the years that the Chicago Bulls they won the title. You see that he was 49 and a half, 49 and a half, 48, 46. Those were not even the best years in his career of average. He had an average here of 53% at some point, which is quite good. But what you're looking for again, first of all, if you look for the numbers, it's pretty consistent. You don't see a lot of variation. He was always about the 50 something here, which of course quite good. You don't need to say that's of course why he's considered one of the best basketball players of all time. So he had an average in the career of 49.7% of all the shots he won. But you see a lot of if you want to see also there's a lot of failure. So that he was not getting everything right because a lot of times when you talk about successful project manager, people think you're going to get it right all the time. You're going to be on top of everything. You know everything that you're going to do. You know all the answers with your team. No. And I'm showing you here Michael Jordan, he was not scoring all the points that he tried. But what's the point here? He kept trying it. It's not just because he tried a shot there. Oh, I lost it, so I'm not going to try anything else. He kept trying. He kept trying, and he would make it a lot. He would lose a lot. But the point is not trying something and stopping it. And about the same thing that you can see here with Djokovic. It's about consistent. You see here also the numbers. It's around 50%. So it's not like he was scoring all the points that he tried. Even though, and you can look for further statistics if you want, even though that he's quite good, he won a lot of Grand Slams, he's not winning everything. A lot of, and even this point that he got 50% right, yeah, he was still losing a lot of points. But he was not saying, oh, I lost this one and put himself down. So that's not about it. So it's about improving yourself every day, trying to work to improve yourself every day. And then it's also being consistent. And you see here also from Djokovic, but also for Michael Jordan, they're already, of course, that's why they're professionals, very high level, but they were quite consistent in what they do here. And you see what brought them the the results was not something very different. Was not like achieving 95% of winning points. It was not having. It was not doing something very special. It was training the foundations, and of course, for Michael Jordan, if you watch The Last Dance, you are going to see what else he improved from the beginning of his career that he started at 51. He improved in leadership, team playing, but that's all those things, and that's why, of course, I'm talking about the sports and I'm talking about those very successful sportsmen here. We are looking for consistency. We are looking for consistent improvement, continuing to do that, and keep going. That's of course why I think when I talk about the principles there, and if you have been following the warm up for the Project Management Summit. I talk about, I think in one of the episodes 4 or 5 there, I talk about project management principles to be successful there, and one of them is not giving up, is not stop trying it. So you are always looking for progress, and that's what those numbers are showing here. Consistent. What's consistent? Keep going, keep trying, not stopping yourself, because yeah, you can be very close to be successful there. It's just a matter of trying to understand what you need to improve and keep it going there. Uh, so keep trying. So what makes a successful project manager? And if you look for a successful project manager on Google, you're going to find a lot of lists there. And I've seen some lists of 20, 30 items, and I think in general this is very nice wishful thinking, but in reality this is bullshit. You're not going to find a person that has a 50 items checked in a box say, "Oh, this person is the best person that you can have there," because that simply does not exist. That kind of leader does not exist. Nobody is going to be perfect. And even if you look, making an analogy here with Michael Jordan, if you watch The Last Dance, you see that Michael Jordan, he had to improve his teamwork because he was that good. He was trying to win the title by himself. It was only he learned that he needed also the other team players to be able to win the title. That's when the Chicago Bulls won the title. So it's not about checking a box with 50 items there or 30 items. That's why, in my view, you need to have or you need to work on five basic items here to be able to be successful. Because if you do that with consistency, if you do that with time, if you give yourself time to get the results, because what a lot of people see, they try it once, oh, I did not get results. I applied for one job position, no one replied to me, so I gave up. I studied it 1 hour, and now I cannot fully control my project, so I give up. I have a problem here. I tried to talk with someone, but I could not find a solution, so I gave up. That does not work. If you try, if you do like that, you're not going to be successful at anything that you do. And there's also an analogy here to think about that when what you're doing there. Think about you are in the supermarket, so there's a line there. There's a queue there. Depending how lucky you are, you can enter the queue that's the fastest one, then you're out. Depending on how lucky you are going to get a queue that something is going to happen, they need to change the product, they are going to need to cancel something, and that will be the longest one. But what's the difference between people? Of course, what's going to happen with the queue you cannot control. That's something outside of your control zone. But there's people that they keep looking all the lines there in the supermarket and they keep changing every time. So they do not even have time to get any type of result. Because yeah, they see, oh, I think that one's going faster. They move to that one. Oh, I think that one's going faster. They move to that one. So in the end, it takes for them even longer to go to the cashier to check out in the supermarket. There's also the type of people that they are going to be in the longest queue. There, and something's going to happen. They are never going to change because they are saying, "Oh, I choose it, so I'm going to stick with that." And there's the third type of people that are going to see, "Okay, I'm in that line." They see that's taking so long, but suddenly they see, "Okay, just another cashier, just open here." So if I go there straight away, it can go faster. But they move because they are sure about the moving that they are doing there. They are not just running around afraid that they are not going to get results. So it's important that if you want to succeed as a project manager, you cannot be the first person that stay with the queue and don't never move and you never do anything. You cannot be the first one also that just moving around every time because then you're not going to have the time to get results. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan say I'm not going to get results, and Michael Jordan even did it. He tried to play baseball, but it's a different type of discussion. If he would say, from basketball I want to go to tennis, and then from tennis he say now I'm going to baseball, then I'm going to football or soccer if you're in the U.S. And you keep changing. What's going to happen? You're not going to master what you need to do. You're not giving yourself the time to improving something, and you're not giving the chance to see the result of your consistency. And if you look for Djokovic here, if you would have given up here in 2007, he would never be the first one. And of course, he did not start his career on 2004. I think you can look back. He probably you're going to see that he has been training for much longer than that. Of course, usually those people they start to train when they were kids or even teenagers. So they are doing that already for years before they can reach that point. And that's the same thing about you. So talking about what you need to be successful as a project manager there. Let's go for the first one that I already mentioned. You need to be able to adapt. Making the analogy here, you're in the supermarket again. What's adaptability? You see a possibility, a concrete possibility, because your line is taking too long, your queue is taking too long. So what you do? Oh, here's a concrete possibility. I'm sure that is going to bring me more results. Then you change, or you see much better possibilities there. So you change, you adapt. That's adaptability. That's going to be required for your project. No plan is perfect. So whatever the framework that you are using there, waterfall, agile, scrum, kanban, lean management, whatever you're doing there, what I can guarantee to you is you are going to need to adapt because the product you're developing, you're going to have a issue with testing or a issue with qualification. The customer will ask you to change something. The market you change it, or someone in your team is going to leave it. Someone in your team will get sick. Not I wish that anyone would get sick, but that's the world that we live in. Someone in your team might go on maternity leave. That's part of life, and that's a good part of the life, by the way. So you are going to need to adapt. So you need to learn how to adapt. You need to have a strategy, what you want to follow. You need to have a plan. You need to take action with consistency to improve yourself. Remember, 1% better here every day. And you need to give yourself time, of course, to see the results. But while you are applying something, you need to keep learning. That's why the learning mindset, the feedback loop. You're always learning, adding feedback in your system there, learning what you should improve there, because then you start to grow. And like Jakovic curve a lot, because you say what you're looking for. You're looking for, okay, you're in 48%. You're not in the top ranking. Okay, what you're going to do next year? Okay, I'm going to improve 1%. You should do that in 1.3% in 1 year. Quite a lot of improvement if you see the positions here. That's a lot. 186 to 78. If you compare here the 48% with the 1.8%, it's even more because here you're talking about less than 4% of improvement and it's from 186 to 16. So that's what you need there. So looking how to improve yourself every step. That means learn waterfall if you're only using agile. If you're only using Scrum, learn waterfall because what you're going to learn there will help you to understand how you can better adapt. Will help you to new with new tools. If you are working with construction, only waterfall, learn Scrum. That will help you to learn new tools, will to help you to broaden your view about leadership, about teamwork, how you can improve things in your team. If you already say I know both, okay, study leadership, study teamwork, learn finance, learn lean management or lean manufacturing or Toyota production system, whatever you want to call it, because then it's going to broaden your view and of course going to give you more tools. So those two things are fundamental here. But then you also need something else because if you want to if to apply adaptability and learning mindset, you need to be proactive there. And recently I was in a one-on-one mentoring session, and that there was something that I mentioned that's okay. If you want to study, if you want to better improve your results, study this part here. In this case, was a product development. I told the person, say, study the bill of material of your product. Understand what are the different stages that you have there into production. Understand the flow from where the goods starts and from where they ended. What do you need in those different steps of the flow? How those different steps of the flow interact in the project? And she was just telling me, yeah, but you don't see anywhere someone telling you that. And I told the company should make sure that you learn something like that. And I told her, yes, but I'm telling you that I do not know. Maybe at a certain level, yes, the company should better help you and do that. But you can have basically two perspectives. You say, no, but the company should teach me something because then I'm going to improve myself. Or you can be proactive and say, that's something that I think is important. I'm going to learn either way, either if the company is helping me or not. That's being proactive. You can apply this for your project. I have the project that has a problem. So I'm going to go and talk with my team. I'm going to go and ask my team if how the project is going on. It happened that I think probably last year I was talking with a junior project manager and he told me, I assume I don't check my timeline because I assume that my team is following my plan. Otherwise, they would have said something to me. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what world do you live in? And this was the person that has all his projects with a lot of problems. Of course, if you always assume that everything is right, you don't need a project manager. Just make a plan in the beginning, throw it out to the team, and ask them to execute it. So this is not being proactive, it's just being reactive. What a proactive approach would be. You are going to check in, we are going to talk with your team members. Ask what's going on, what are the challenges, what are the next steps, what are the risks, if they need support. Have this, make sure that they are interacting with each other. This is being proactive. And of course, this sense of ownership. Instead of waiting someone to tell you, say, I'm going to take the initiative there. I'm going to take the first step there. I'm not going to sit and wait what I'm doing here. So this is quite important. And the other very important point, anti-fragile. And in the past, I had this as resilience, but I like it very much the definition of anti-fragile from Nassim Taleb. There's a book called Anti-Fragile where he explains the concept, he explains the different strategies that you can approach to be more anti-fragile. And of course, very nice book. I do recommend you to read it. But what's the point in being anti-fragile here? Why I'm saying this is so important to be successful as a project manager? Because whatever it happens, you're going to face challenges here. And can be all types of challenges. It can be personal challenges, can be challenges into your project, with your team. A lot of times you're going to fail, and fail is just, or maybe you should not even call it failure. It's just you're going to have an unfavorable outcome, something that you don't want it. So what you're going to do with that? You're going to let this stop you, or you're going to learn with that. Then go back to the learning mindset. What can you learn with that? What can you learn in this process there? What can you learn that will help you to move forward? Because I've already shown you the data. Djokovic, he was losing most of the points that he was playing. Listen to this again. He was losing most of the points that he was playing in the beginning of his career. Number one in the ranking. Although he's number one, he's still losing 44% of the points that he was playing. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, in his entire career, if you look for his average, every time he throws a ball into the basket, there's a 50% chance that he's going to make it, and a 50% chance that he's not going to make it. Of course, everyone remembers, like it is here, the Air Jordan going around. Everyone remembers the championships and so on. But a lot of people they forget that he lost a lot of points. And again, nothing wrong with that. That's part of it. Why I'm telling you that? Because you're also going to miss a lot of things in your project. But instead of beating you down, saying, oh, not telling yourself, because there's a lot of people that who has this kind of self-talk that's very negative, saying, "I'm a worthless piece of shit. Sorry about my language. I'm useless. I'm dumb." Don't talk with yourself in that way. And I've seen, I do not know exactly which trainer said, but he says, if think about the way you talk with yourself, think about how would a friend of yours would react if you talk with them in the same way. Depending how you're talking with yourself, I can guarantee to you that you will have no friends. So what these stories that you're telling yourself, they're very important. And we are going to talk more about that, of course, in the Project Management Summit. But what I want to make sure that you understand, if you want to be a successful project manager, it's not. That's also why again I like this quote. It's not a very dramatic difference that you're going to see here. It's not a trick that I have. It's not someone say, "Oh, but it's not. I'm not working 10 hours more to get better results." I do not have a very. I'm not. I don't have any specific a very advanced trick on Excel, very advanced trick on an MS Project, or a very good Power BI. Of course, if you like, I'm quite good with MS Project, uh, and and I think I can do what I do there very well. So of course that helps, but if you know the basics on MS Project, and if you do that with consistency, of course you can improve in what you're doing with MS Project. But it's not because you know MS Project that you're going to be a successful project manager. And to tell you a story, in the beginning of my career, I was hired to be a planning and controlling engineering projects. So I was overseeing big projects. There are some projects, the range on business case of the first one was a business case of around $50 million. I had to plan the construction. It was engineering, procurement, and construction. I had to plan the construction on 10 different sites, different cities, the purchasing there of hundreds of equipment and all the engineering part, all the design part, the civil design, mechanical design, electrical design for those 10 different sites that should go. So there was kind of a lot of complexity because of the size of the project. And of course, when I started working this project, I did not know anything about MS Project. So I learned everything I know by that by working with that. And of course, at some point, I had a very decent knowledge. I'm not saying that I was my knowledge nowadays is much better because, of course, I've used it more. But what happened is then the company, the way they structured the company was organized. We always hired someone, a specific one for planning, just to do reporting to me to do the planning work on this for the sites because planning the construction it required much more details and I had to oversee a much bigger part. I had to oversee the design, I had to oversee all the purchasing plus the construction. And then the construction part required on-site tracking there to make sure that to also to track the progress. So that's the organization structure. And then the organization hired planners to work in different types of projects. They would report to me. And I can tell you that once or more than once the organization would hire someone with very good MS project skills, and a lot of times they would know the tool even much better than I. But what I'm telling you that story because once this guy started, he was just I think he just did a good training in MS project or whatever. He comes, yeah, I took your timeline here, I changed this, I changed that. Then I say, oh, he knows a lot of tools, he knows shortcuts in the tool, and he did this and did that. And then he comes and shows to me the plan, and here's the new plan. So that he worked, I don't know, for half a day, one day, or whatever. I don't remember the timeline. This is more than 10 years ago. Then I just look, yeah, but now your plan has 20 months. And I say, yeah, yeah, 20 months. Yeah, but our contract is 15 months. That means if we are 5 months delayed, and we are going to pay 5 months of daily penalties, daily fees that you pay per day of delay. Then he look at me and say, so doesn't this plan does not work? Nope. go back to my plan, the 15 month plan. And of course, in general, what you don't want to create something that's fictional or that's impossible to achieve. But you cannot plan some. If you're already planning something that you're going to fail, that's also not a good plan. But why I'm saying that? So it's not the tool; it's about how you use it, and that's basically for everything. It's not waterfall, it's not Scrum, it's not Kanban, it's not Lean. But what can you make with that? This is what's important there. So you're not going to. That's and why I'm saying that, because those are not very big things that you're going to learn. Because what do I need to learn? Well, you need to have a very good foundation, and you need to be able to exercise this foundation properly. That's how you're going to be a successful project manager. It's not that you're going to come up with something that's very different and then say, oh, I learned here a secret technique. That's like if you like martial arts, you learn like the kick of the rounds kick there, and then you're going to win. No, of course, learning a new technique is always good. It's part of your learning mindset there, and you of course you learn how you're going to adapt, what you can implement there. But that's not what's going to make the difference there. The difference and the results that you are looking for will come from your consistent, and it will come from your consistent improvement there. And then of course you're going to you're going to work in a project. It's a new team that you have in a project. You need to know how to learn with the team. What's the personality of your team members, how they interact, what you can expect from each team member. Some people there you are going to see there's a lot of people that they overpromise a lot and they do not deliver anything. Some people they love to underpromise and over delivery, which is also very good to work with these people. Some people, if they have a